Welcome to the Drew Yari Show.
You're coming through your A-OK.
Yay. Can you hear, by the way, the AC in the background?
No, I don't think I can.
Okay, good.
Can you hear my fan?
Let me see. No.
Okay. All right, you're coming in all right on Spreaker, and I'm coming in. Okay, good.
Happy birthday.
Oh, thank you, brother. Thank you. Sasha Baron Corbin's in the chat, in the live show portion. Got 5 people. Welcome, Sasha.
That's right. Did we tweet it out at the last minute? Let me see.
Well, I tweeted it out twice. I think at the 30-minute mark, I tweeted out that we're going to start in a bit. And then, literally right when we, at 8 p.m., that's when I put out that we're live. Trying to get that channel a little bigger.
We'll make it happen.
Awesome. I have confidence that we'll make it happen. I just had my birthday cake before we started recording.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Does that mean? Did you get the itis from it?
I'm sorry?
Did you get the itis from it?
What's itis?
Itis is what we call when you have a good meal and you just feel so tired and sleepy because the meal was that good.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. Well, and also because we ate a lot today because my girl she took me and her sister out, and we went to a place, and I don't know if you guys have it in New York. It's called Pancake Joe's.
Mm-hmm. I don't think so. Okay.
It's one of those kind of, I guess, hole in the wall type places.
Yeah.
Where because I remember that place, because I remember it a long time ago. It used to be a Burger King, and then it became a Mexican restaurant, and now it's a Pancake Joe's, and it's wow. And they have really some really good stuff over there, and me and my girl, we went there on our anniversary because a friend from work suggested it to us. So we went, and she got something called, it was a French toast grilled cheese sandwich. Wow. And I was and I got blueberry waffles, but it was a high stack of them. And I had to get that grilled cheese whenever we went today, and it was so freaking good. And then we went to the movies. Had a hot dog, and then I had some I had some of her popcorn. Then we got home. I'm like, I'm gonna have some cake.
Nice. Well, you got to do it up. It's your 3-0.
Goddamn right.
You're still older than me, though. I'm still 27 for life, so.
You're always gonna be younger than me, damn it.
That's right.
Oh man.
Unless you use that face app, and then you can make me old.
Ugh. I'm so fed up. Thanks, Sasha. I am so fed up with that stupid old people face app thing.
Yeah.
I hate it so much. I don't get if it's supposed to be funny or cute, but it's kind of creepy.
Or scary.
Scary too. But I don't know. I haven't used it, and I really have no interest to use it. So.
I mean, I didn't download it. I know Danny did, and yeah, I basically look like my aunt. Spinning image, I swear. Everybody in that family looks exactly alike.
Is that a bad thing?
No. Not at all. Not at all. I was like, all right, I don't look so bad.
Well, there you go. Oh man.
So what else do you got going on for the weekend for your birthdays, or did you just end up killing it today?
We pretty much did everything we needed to do today. Everyone else was kind of busy, so we couldn't really do anything with anyone else.
Okay.
Can't really do anything tomorrow because I'm working. I'm working Friday, so Saturday I'm off. So I think me and my mom are gonna do something because she said she wants to, I guess, take me out to lunch or dinner sometime this week.
Nice.
Yeah. So she says she's doing pretty good after her surgery.
Well, see, that's good. And plus, in part, is also her celebration too. That was a big day for her.
Yeah, and like her birthday's actually gonna be next Wednesday.
Wow.
Yeah, like our birthdays are literally 7 days apart.
Nice.
So.
Do you guys usually celebrate together?
It's weird. Usually we don't do anything on the day of because it's all about like calibrating everyone's schedules. So we'll find a day where everyone's off, and then we'll have like a big dinner or a big lunch.
Oh, okay.
So, I guess we're starting already. Got a few people in the chat room. All right, I'll just do the intro already in 3, 2, 1. Now I got to redo the intro.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry about that.
You ruined it.
Darn it. See, I thought we started when I said happy birthday to you.
Yeah, technically right. Anyways, for anyone who's here, welcome to the show. You already know who I am. And my returning guest from last week, you might know who she is. Introduce yourself, returning guest.
Hi, I'm Dark Temptress, but everybody knows me as Trez. Thanks to Kevin Castle, my bestie.
Shout out to Kevin Castle. And as you can tell, Trez is she's a free woman. She is broken out of Twitter jail. How's it like being back on the free land?
Oh, it's great. It's great. I mean, I just still can't believe that our simple conversation that you and I were having over The Little Mermaid, and it wasn't even racially intended. It was not putting down the actress at all. It just turned into like, a SJW match, and basically Twitter decided to silence me. It's so funny and hypocritical because they say that, hey Lord, they say that they don't want to, that it's violence or hate is what they consider it. That's what I got flagged under, to silence someone. So like oh my god, you're ignorant got flagged under hateful and violence, and I'm like, really? But then it's okay to silence me for a week, but it's not okay to silence the harasser for a week. I'm like, okay. So yeah, I'm trending lightly.
So basically, you're just going to be choosing your words and trying to avoid any future confrontation.
Yeah, I have to. Otherwise, they'll suspend my account. And I've had this account for 10 years, and it's the same. It's interesting because I created the name, one day out of scratch, and it's the same name that I have on all my social media. So to me, that's my brand, and it's also associated with my company. So I kind of do not want to get rid of that. So we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, you remember this. I got, suspended for a whole day. And it was because of the whole shit with PETA. And, I mean, granted, I said go kill yourself to PETA, but still, it's just like, come on. How are you going to suspend someone's account for saying go kill yourself when I'm pretty sure there's, and I'm not trying to compare my situation to yours, but you literally didn't even say anything that was even remotely bad.
No, I just said hashtag troll be gone and oh my god, you're ignorant and fuck off, or pretty much the most I've said. That's like the most I've said to that guy. And, I was choosing my words correctly. I even said a prayer for him. I was like, and I was being sarcastic in my prayer, but I said a prayer. I was like, may the Lord, something about may the Lord shine his light upon you so that you can stop being ignorant. And that got flagged. I was like, really? The prayer got flagged? I was like, okay. But it's so interesting because then you have all these politicians and random people on Twitter that just go haywire finding other people to attack and calling them racist and actually doing, racial slurs and everything. And then their accounts are 100% up. They can send people out there to harass other people, to attack other, whether it's other podcasters or just anyone else on Twitter, and that's okay. That's the incredible thing. It's like these guys have 100%. They've gotten other accounts suspended for people defending other people. That's how insane it is. So it's like, all right, so it's a platform for bullies, and it's not a platform for positivity.
Yeah, because I remember, like, Kevin actually got his account suspended for a day, and I forgot what it was even about. And I think it was, like, similar to yours. Like, he was just, like, being sarcastic, to someone who was talking shit. And then, that guy decided to suspend it or report him because he was, like, harassing him, apparently.
Yeah, which is ridiculous, because if you defend yourself, it should not be considered harassment. It should literally be okay, because they should be able to look at the trend and see how it escalates. Because it should be okay for you to defend yourself, whether that's telling someone to go fuck themselves. That should be okay, because if someone comes to our conversation, and I don't give a shit that if our accounts are public, our accounts have to be public because of what we do. But still, it's still a private conversation. Like, it's different if it's like your followers or my followers and we're all chiming in and we're having a positive conversation. Even if it was like I know one of the guys is Don Pony, and we had a back and forth, but we were respectful about it. It's like, oh, I see your point. I get it. I get where everybody's coming from, but people need to understand where I'm coming from. And it was cool. It was a cool exchange. No disrespect at all. But then here comes this bozo and just completely crashes into our conversation. And I guess that's okay. But anyway.
Yeah, I mean, good segue, to what I was going to bring up. Scarlett Johansson, she's getting attacked on Twitter, pretty much on social media in general, because she did an interview with someone. I don't have the quote in front of me, but she had said, basically along the lines of, I should be able to play any role I want.
Yes, she said that she is, it's, oh my gosh, I just read it the other day, that if she wants to play, it was like two objects, and that it should be okay because she's an actor. I think was it a dog? Shoot, I had it. I completely forgot. But it was like, and I was like, yeah, you're right. If you want to be a fucking tree, you can be a tree. And, if they have a reenactment of The Wizard of Oz, and you're the damn scarecrow, or you want to be just a tree laying there, you should be okay to be a tree because it's an actress. But the thing is, it's so interesting, because then I was thinking the hypocrisy in what we were talking about compared to this shit. Because, so she is not allowed, or so the community or whoever the hell these people are, who are just hypocritical assholes, don't want, Scarlett to be featured. And I don't even know why. I don't know if it's just because she's white and she's straight. Is that what it is? Because that to me is a bias if that's the case. It shouldn't be your sexuality shouldn't determine what roles you should play. Like, if she wanted to play a man or a transgender person, I don't see why that would be an issue when she is an actress at the end of the day. It's different, I feel like, if this is, like this was real life and she just wanted us, for I guess you could say for phase or just for fashion, walk up and down Hollywood as dressed as, or saying that she's transgender just as a fad. Like, I think that would be, to me, beyond degrading and hateful, because then you're mocking people's lifestyles and people and who they are, because you're trying, you want to fab it out. But this is her job, like she says. And I just find it so hypocritical, because here we go with people saying, oh, well, the Little Mermaid, you have the two sides of the coin, right? The people that are saying, oh, the Little Mermaid should be, white, redheaded, because that's how we saw her when we were growing up. That's the mental picture we have of her, and that's what she should be. And then you have the other side of the coin, which is where we're at, where it's like, I'm not even talking about the race. I'm like, where the hell is Jodie Benson at? Like, why aren't we talking about this? And it's the same shit. It's like, so why is it okay for, for when it comes to roles where, and I'm a minority, by the way, so I'm not whitewashed, white passing, whatever the hell people want to call it. why is it okay for minorities to have certain roles and that's okay, and you know, like, let's say, for in this case, Haley is the new Little Mermaid, and she's playing a fictional character that everybody, you know, has that mental image of it being a white character. Why is that okay? But when you want to have someone who's white, like Scarlett Johansson, play a role in which it's a different sexuality, and you know, and I guess I don't know what I'm assuming this. I don't know if there was a race change. I just know it's that she wanted to play a transgender role, and people just had her pushed back in the corner like hell no.
What happened? I was actually gonna. I actually have the article in front of me. I'll say the quote first, and then I'll tell you about what you just about the transgender role she was going to take on last year. She basically just said, as an actor, I should be allowed to play any person or any tree or any animal because that is my job and the requirements of my job. Last year, she was supposed to do a film that was, I think, based off of, like, it was based off a true story. I'm just forgetting what the plot was. But basically, the plot was the main character of the film was going to be a woman. Let me just repeat that just so, everyone gets it. A woman becoming a man. It's about a woman becoming a man. It's based on a true story. Scarlett Johansson, a woman, signs on to play a role as a woman becoming a man. And the LGBTQ community, had a shitstorm because they looked at it as like, oh, we want an actual transgendered actress or actor to play this role. And it's like, okay, first things first, correct me if I'm getting the terminology wrong, isn't Scarlett Johansson like a big lefty?
I have no idea what her political stance is.
Because I know she's like, all right, basically she's all for, women's rights, diversity, gay rights, LGBT rights.
I know. Yeah. I know she's. I don't know how hardcore she is on it because I don't follow her. I'd say I should follow her actually.
She's kind of like what Brie Larson is, but she's less Brie Larson-y, if that makes sense.
Right. No, it does. It does.
So basically, she had to bow out of the role. And then the director of the film, who pretty much had spent his whole life trying to get this project off the floor, had to pretty much scrap it because the LGBT, Q community put pressure on him. So it's like, going back to Scarlett, it's like, don't you think you'd want an actress like Scarlett, in this role talking about this kind of topic? Because it can bring more eyes and ears to the topic and to the product. And also, let's not forget, Scarlett Johansson's from fucking Marvel. She's the highest paid actress in Hollywood, so people are going to see Scarlett Johansson attached to a project and go, hey, that's Black Widow. She's in this movie. I want to watch it.
Yeah. And
then after the movie, they'll learn something about it. But no, she had to bow out because she pretty much just got harassed. Like, I can't take this role because I don't want to piss anyone off. And then, flash, rewind, a year before that, she was in another movie called Ghost in a Shell, which was based on an anime. I'm not familiar with the anime. I just know it was an anime. And again, people were pissed off because they looked at it as like, oh, Hollywood's whitewashing A, B, C, and D. So it's, and people will probably, roll their eyes when they hear this. I'm on Scarlett's side because as an actor, if someone offers you a role, you're not wrong for either bowing out or taking the role. You know what I mean? It'd be like if someone came up to you, Trez, and be like, "Hey, Trez, we're thinking about making Doctor Strange a female Latina. We want to offer you the role. We're going to pay you $1 million to do it."
I don't know. I love me my Doctor Strange, so that'd be a little tough.
I mean, there you go. I mean, you're not wrong for either.
Just because of me. Because I'm sorry. I love Benedict Cumberbatch. I can't see anyone else as Doctor Strange. Just like
the point I was trying to make was that you're not wrong for bowing out of the role or taking the role.
Right. No, exactly.
So it's just Scarlett should not be getting attacked for just voicing an opinion. It's just, I don't know, just the internet's ridiculous.
No, it is, and that's what honestly I think it's just hypocritical, because if Mulan would have been played by a Spanish Mexican, or just Spanish, by a Spanish girl, or Mexican, or Ecuadorian, or Puerto Rican, oh, everybody would have a fucking fit, because it's like, how dare you, it's culture, this and that, and it can't be played by anyone but, from someone from that culture. And I was like, but that doesn't make sense. Like, no, it makes sense for Mulan, I get that, but it's like, but when it comes to the Little Mermaid, and everybody's saying, oh, it's fictional, mermaids don't exist, mermaids could be rainbow colors, yes, no one's talking about that. I mean, whoever is really tripping over the fact that Ariel's in white, it makes no sense, because did you want a white Ariel that has a shitty voice, or are you okay with taking what you got? And the girl's got a beautiful voice. So let's hope that she can act. I don't know. I don't know anything about her other than I heard a sample of what she can do. But my thing is, so then here's the interesting part of this, because now it's like, so you're telling me that an actress who's high profile cannot accept a role that, like you said, would give you eyes, because she's not transgender herself, because it's like, I mean, I'm trying to understand it, and maybe I just need to educate myself a little bit more on the topic, but it isn't the whole point, like, if she's from a woman becoming a man, then it's like, I know for a man becoming a woman and they transgender fully, basically, their sexual organ gets inverted, and, they use what they have, but it becomes, whether, though they don't have the ovaries or the uterus, but they're still, it's converted to function as a vagina. I don't know if we're allowed to say words like that, but
no,
so
we cannot. I'm kidding. Go ahead.
So like, for a woman to transgender as a man, it's not just going to be dressing up as a dude. I would imagine it's just, the whole full yards, the same way that it's man to woman, right? So why not? Why not allow someone like her to take on that role, and even off camera be able to explain, hey, I took on the role, but I was able to, talk to a lot of people in the community, and they gave me tips on, or what their day to day is, so that she can portray that on the screen and be like, look, it's not an easy thing to go from one sex to the other, especially when you have people that are just closed-minded and don't understand what that's about. When you have, and that's both in the family, as friends, in work. I mean, it has to be a tough thing for someone to go through. So I would imagine having a name like her attached onto this. It's like, it opens up, like you said, the doors of communication. Hey, let's talk about it, and how maybe us as a community can be a little bit more accepting of what a person can go through when they transgender. But again, it's like, I mean, it's like, I get their side of it too, that they would rather be a transgender person that plays the role, but I mean, then it's the person already has transgendered, you know what I mean? Like, I think it's a little different if you have her play the role, and then it's like, you see her transformation, and I don't know, maybe bring in an actor that is transgender as the end result, so that, I mean, I don't know what the hell the entire thing was about, like what the story was, whether it was like it was gonna show bits and pieces of that, and then it was gonna be a full-blown story of this person's life. I don't know, but you would think that, that us as a society would be, more grown up.
Yeah, because we're talking about movies that have to do with an LGBTQ type content, and I'm just thinking, what if the movie Philadelphia came out today? Like, can you imagine? Like, do you think the internet would go after the studio for casting Tom Hanks in a gay role? You know what I mean?
You're right, and you know what? I think I think they would not. I think, honestly, even though he's such a great role, yeah, I know it's reading here. I know he's such a great actor, and he did such an amazing role on it, but I think nowadays, I wouldn't be surprised if it's like, oh no, it should be a gay man playing him, and I wouldn't be surprised if someone says, oh, he should have AIDS. Like what? Why should it be that way? Like I swear I wouldn't be 100% shocked if something like that happens. I mean,
find somebody who has AIDS
and is gay.
He doesn't have enough
gosh.
AIDS.
Oh my gosh! Like it really is ridiculous how people can be. It really is, because it's like, and you're right, and I think it has to be nowadays, because if this was done in the 80s, 90s, even early 2000s, heck, even like during the early 2000s when American Pie was not offensive at all, because I think if that kind of movie were to air today, I think people would be like, oh, this is horrible, blah, 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 because I don't know. I honestly don't know how, a society that grew up on 80s movies that were like sexuality all over the place, 90s and whatnot, even the early 2000s grew up to be so sensitive about everything.
You know what? And this is a quote from Mish, when I had him on the show. He said, this current society is probably the smartest it's ever been, but they're also the dumbest. Because, and another example would be, The Simpsons. Millennials are getting, and it sounds weird saying millennials because I fall into that category, but I don't get offended by everything. I think, to be honest, I don't think I've ever really been offended by anything I would see on TV or a movie. But like, The Simpsons, the actor Hank Azaria, I think they retired the role of Apu because people were getting offended by it. Now. Yeah.
Now, after like, what, 20, almost 30 years on the air, they're now realizing that for them, oh, it's just ridiculous.
It's like, The Simpsons was like something you would watch with your family. That's like pretty much a family show. And yeah, that stereotype was, I guess offensive to someone of that ilk.
No.
But now, yeah. And, and they were talking about on Soup that there was this, I think this like Indian comedian that made a documentary called The Problem with Apu. And it's like, are you fucking serious? Come on. Mm-hmm. It's like, in 2019, if you're offended by The Simpsons, it's like, God help you with the rest of the world.
Seriously.
It's like, Jesus, like, I don't get how this country became full of crybabies overnight.
Dude, I don't get it. People are like, I swear there has to be someone that's literally nitpicking every single song, article, movie there is out there, because, even TV show, because something like Baby It's Cold Outside is also got flagged as harassment. Yeah, he doesn't want to let her go. Yes, he doesn't want to let her go.
Yeah, I remember that whole thing where it was supposedly about like rape or sexual assault. I kind of made a joke about it where I'm like, yeah, it kind of does sound like it, but I didn't really take it too seriously because, another example would be, Netflix. I guess people were complaining on Stranger Things that, some of the cast were smoking. Like the characters were smoking. And I'm just do you guys remember a show called 13 Reasons Why, where they showed the main character kill herself? They didn't shy away from that. They actually showed her fucking cutting her wrists. Yeah. And then later on, Netflix came out and be like, okay, we need to cut that scene out. It's like, yeah, now?
They forget that it used to be a time when you could smoke outside and inside bars and restaurants, and it wasn't such an offensive thing. So I don't know why they're getting offended over seeing smoking on the TV screen when it used to be in person, up close and personal smoking.
Why did they outlaw smoking in bars?
Because from what I gather, it's secondhand smoking. They say it's worse than actually smoking because you can get cancer off of it. At least studies show. No offense to the smokers or the previous smokers, aka Danny, but but no, I mean, this is what they said, and then I mean, I actually like the idea that there's no smoking inside the bar. I don't mind if people smoke anywhere they want, because then it's like you come home and then your clothes smell like smoke. And your hair, especially for girls, like especially if you get your hair done and you smell it, it smells exactly like cigarettes. So, but so that's what they're saying. So it's been banned from restaurants, bars, pretty much anywhere indoors, and there's designating smoking areas too. So like there's certain buildings won't allow you to smoke in front of them.
Huh. Were you ever a smoker?
No, only secondhand smoke.
I don't know. Cigarettes, I tried cigarettes. I just didn't like the taste. I didn't like, the feeling I got from it. Being younger, I would smoke weed, but I wouldn't like do it a lot. I would just like do it from time to time with friends. And then I think the last time I ever smoked weed was, I think, like 5 years ago. And I was just like, you know what? I'm good. Like, I'm all for, marijuana rights, legalizing marijuana, but I don't think I would actually ever do it anymore. So, I don't know. That's just me.
I tried CBD oil just because, but supposedly I got this one from, and it's wrestling related actually. I listened to the Bellas podcast and they had this infomercial on $10 off if you go to beam.com or beamtlc.com/Bellas. And, I like I told you last week, I've been dealing with the shoulder issue with the pain and how certain medications I just can't have them anymore simply because my body's just not responding well to them. So it's like affecting me in all other ways. And sometimes I'm getting so used to them that it makes no difference. And, so I figured, everybody raves about CBD being such, anti-inflammatory and whatnot. And I tried it, and I can tell you this much: I don't know about the pain or the Did I feel the difference between not having pain versus having pain? Not as much as I felt like I was high, and I don't mean like doped out high, like I mean, I've never smoked weed, so I can't honestly tell. But you know what I mean. But it's like I felt like I had it on Friday night. It just completely relaxed me. So I was actually fine. I had a Friday night to Saturday. I was okay. And then Saturday, no. But then the full day Saturday, I just felt like I was just so relaxed, and like all I wanted to do was sleep. Now I had we had our friend's engagement party, so that was not a possibility. But it's just like I was just like completely relaxed. And then I came home and I was like, I'll try it again, because I was like, my shoulder wasn't so bad, but I was like, it was starting to hurt a little bit at night. So I had it, and I can honestly tell you the next day I was not able to wake up. Like I woke up at 11 o'clock forcing myself to get up. Yeah. So yeah, I don't smoke it, but supposedly the CBD was pure, no THC. I don't know how true that is, because I honestly was like, if everybody says how they smoke weed, it just relaxes them and they can sleep. But I didn't get the munchies, so I clearly can't have some THC on it. Because usually when you guys smoke, you guys get the munchies, right? I was not hungry, so I was like, all right, so there really is no THC, because I would imagine I would have gotten some kind of hunger, but no. So
I don't know. I'm hungry regardless, even if whether I'm high or not, I'm always hungry. So
yeah, I was like, okay, I'm not hungry, but so it definitely doesn't have THC. But I was just like, that veg out thing, I can't do it. I cannot feel like I'm super sleepy. That's why I've not taken it since Saturday night, because I just completely passed on the couch, then could not even wake up the next day. I was like, wow, I even missed mass.
Yikes.
And yeah, Lord, by the way, I know it sucks about the e-cigarettes, because it's not like that I mean, I would imagine it doesn't smell like the regular vapes, because I know some of the vapes have all those yummy smells that have like cotton candy and candy apple and all this stuff. And yeah, I love actually the smell of vape, but it just sucks.
You ever tried hookah?
Yes, but my tiny lungs can't take that.
Tiny lungs.
I swear the doctor said I have small lungs.
I just think about those. I just think about those dumb WWE commercials. Tiny lungs. Tiny lungs couldn't handle it. He could have been the next champ.
So true. So I tried hookah a couple years ago, maybe like 7 years ago, when my friend was getting married. We had her bachelorette party in Miami, and I tried it. The first go around, I was like, it just burned inside of me. And then the next go around, I was like, I can't even inhale this correctly.
Well, the last time I tried it was on my friend's birthday, and this was like 9 years ago. And he wanted to go to hookah bar, so I was like, okay, we'll go wherever you want to go. And I get there, and I never tried hookah, so I tried it. It literally felt like my whole body was like cold, like the inside of my body was cold.
Wow.
And he wanted me to try another hit. I'm like, okay. Tried it again. I think I did like one more, and then my friend was like, come on, Drew, it's my birthday. do one more for me. I'm like, you fucker. So I just did one more hit of hookah, and I was like, I don't need to do this anymore.
Yeah. I think I did like 2 to 3 hits, and I was done. I was like, this isn't for me.
Oh, man. Did you watch Extreme Rules on Sunday?
Yes, I did. It's so funny because I was just going to ask you the same thing.
I did. Did you want to go over the event?
Yeah.
All right. So Extreme Rules was at Philly.
Do you want to start with the ending?
Sure, we can start wherever you want.
Work backwards.
Sure, let's try something new. The ending, as everyone knows, if anyone did see Extreme Rules, the ending, Brock Lesnar cashed in his Money in the Bank at the end of the Seth Rollins, Becky Lynch versus Corbin and Evans match. He cashed in his Money in the Bank on Rollins, won the Universal title back. What were your thoughts on that, Trez?
I actually liked it. Well, let's talk about that whole thing. So first of all, I did not appreciate Lacey Evans coming off like a hoe by putting her Seth's name on her ass. But kudos to the.
You know what? Like, for some reason, whenever I was watching the event, it didn't buffer, but it kept stopping. So I would have to like exit out and then go back in. That moment, whenever she's entering the ring and she pretty much just bends over, and the camera pans in on her ass, that's when the fucking stream stopped. It stopped literally on her ass. So you can just imagine on my widescreen 4K TV, I'm like, holy fuck. So,
oh my gosh, I know. Well, we saw it, and I'm just like, wow. And Danny's like, oh, look, she's got Seth's name on her ass. And I was like, yeah, she's a fucking hoe. I was like, you want to start a fight? You want to rival someone? You act hoish when it comes to someone who's got a man, and see what you're going to get. Because if you're trying to piss off the man, trust me, you'll find her. So, but kudos to the camera operator who did an awesome job zooming in on that shit. Zooming in on her butt and making every guy's dream come true. Kudos to the cam op. Shout out to him.
So we'll just like cut to it. What did you think about the spot where Baron does End of Days on Becky?
Oh, I was so pissed off. I was like, oh no, he fucking did not. And I was just like, oh, and then Seth ends up going crazy on him, and I was like, yeah, that's right. You teach his ass a lesson because you do not hit a woman. And granted, she's a performer, she's a wrestler, I understand. But it's not like she was able to, to use her finisher on him first to justify him acting that way. At least that's how I felt. I felt like it wasn't even because if she's the man, and I get it, maybe that's what they're trying to say because she's the man, she should be able to take it. But me, and I'm not saying because I'm a girl or because she's a girl or she's a woman, whatever. I just felt that, you know what, has she gotten her chance to kick his ass and it was like even playing field and cool. But the fact that he just did that while she was just standing and there was nothing going on, that pissed me off.
Well, that was also a way, to get Baron Corbin like some actual heel heat. Because up until this point, Baron's always had go away heat. Now he actually has heel heat because he, tried to take out Becky in front of her guy. And, like you just mentioned, Seth just went ape shit and started beating the fuck out of Baron. And it actually made Seth look like a human being, because this whole, like, Becky Lynch and, Seth Rollins relationship on screen, I don't know how they are off screen, but how they are on screen, they don't even look like a couple. They look like...
No, they look like tag team partners.
Yeah, because, like... They showed the montage, I guess, leading up to the match, where Becky's like, "Well, I hope you don't get pinned and make me lose my title," and Seth is like, "Well, I hope you don't get pinned and make me lose my title." Well, I wouldn't do that.
Not do that. Yeah.
I would not do that. And it's like, what the? How the fuck does the WWE think couples actually talk? Like, what the fuck? And they're like shaking hands and giving high fives, and Seth is like, Seth pretty much might as well say, "Hey, good match, bro." It's just, but the match itself was actually pretty good, and
it was.
It sounds weird to say, Baron Corbin had one of the best matches of the night. Which
really? Well, let me think. What other matches did we have?
Well. It's a good segue.
Let's put it this way. Baron Corbin had a good match.
Yes.
Because for Baron Corbin to have a good match, I can't think about any other Baron Corbin match that you've seen. Even the one when he had long hair and had his serious face look going on. I can't think of anyone that sticks out that it's like, oh, well, not like... It's not like Undertaker, where you can pinpoint like this match was good for Taker, or what about when he wrestled Mick Foley, or when he wrestled Edge, or you know what I mean, or Shawn.
Yeah.
Those, yes. Baron Corbin, it's like, oh, damn.
It's like, has that motherfucker even had like a decent match? It's like, damn.
Yeah. Right? It's hard. It's like, yeah, this would probably go down in his career as one of the matches, because of the fact of what he did, that it's like, you'll remember this match.
And also, I don't know if you caught it, but like, whenever he did that to Becky, he looked at Seth, and said, "What are you going to do about it, you piece of shit?"
No, I didn't hear that part.
Yeah, because there's a portion where, like, I can hear him say, "What are you going to do about it?" and then you just hear something get bleeped out. So, and, according to Mish had said on the post show, "What are you going to do about it, you piece of shit?" So.
Wow. Well, he definitely did a lot until Brock. But you know what? I'm happy. I'm so happy, because I'm sitting here and I was telling Danny, I was like, you know what? This shit just makes no sense, because you're going to tell me that he's having a hard time putting Corbin down. Corbin. Yet it took him less than 2 minutes or less to, slay the beast. Like, really?
Well,
really?
Well,
Are we to believe?
Well, you're forgetting, Trez. Baron Corbin's the most sexiest man in wrestling.
What'd you say? I don't think I heard that at all.
I said Baron Corbin is the sexiest man in wrestling. He's a heartthrob.
Oh, no, he's not. No, he's not. No. I seriously would raise my eyebrow like The Rock if I ever see someone actually have a sign that says, "Corbin rocks my world heart." Like, in any of the whether it's a house show or any pay-per-view or anything, I would seriously be like, what the fuck? What?
His Applebee's vest is the best. Oh, Trez, you've been exposed.
That is so not true.
Danny just exposed you.
He's lying. Don't listen to him.
Sure.
No. I can't think of anyone right now that's like, that I'm like, ooh. I don't know. Maybe Drew McIntyre, but that's about it.
We'll get to Drew McIntyre pretty soon, so since we're going backwards with the matches, Kofi Kingston defeated Samoa Joe to retain the WWE Championship.
Wait, what? Say that again?
I'm sorry. Kofi Kingston retained his WWE Championship against Samoa Joe.
Yes. I knew that was going to happen. It'd be too crazy for them to take that title off of Kofi without people getting pissed off.
So what are they doing with Joe? Like,
Joe, you know what? I don't know. I mean, I would love to see him with gold. I really would. Him and KO, I honestly would love to see them with gold. But I don't know what's going on and why they don't do this.
It seems
maybe we can hope for SummerSlam, and maybe they're just waiting for all this to hype up SummerSlam. I don't know.
Well, it seems like he's just become the new Bray Wyatt. He talks a big game in the feud, and then he ends up becoming the loser at the end. Like, the feud with him and AJ, he's out there talking about how he's going to fuck his wife and take his kids, and he ends up losing. And he ends up losing. 3 times in a row. And then that just goes away. And then he talks shit to Jeff Hardy and talks down on him, and Jeff wins the feud. Does the same thing to Ray. Well, he actually beat Ray, and then Ray won it back, and then he won it back, and then he lost it to Ricochet, which we'll talk about Ricochet in a bit. But it's just like, has Joe pretty much become, pin me, pay me?
You mean, is he the new Dolph?
That's harsh.
I love Ziggy, don't get me wrong, but it's like, he's another one that it's like, what are they doing? What are they really doing with it's like, what are they doing with their entire roster? Because you're here paying people, but it's like, there's no logic. That's like having a football team, you have the best players, and then you have no game strategy. So then you wonder, why do they suck every day? Not because they suck as individuals, it's because you're not giving them the tools they need to succeed. And I'm sorry, it's like, I saw all I don't even know what the hell happened with the Alexa Bliss issue. I don't know what that was about. All I know is that I see people, talking about, like, oh, the boos should be okay. Boos are fine, and boring chants, fine, whatever, because you, as a performer, I feel like you do need to know and assess your audience as to where it's at. But what people need to understand, this is not like a Broadway show in which they are responsible for their acting or their performance. It's really, they're playing a script, and unfortunately, the script sucks.
Yeah.
And that's what they're dealing with. And that's why I tweeted out today, and I said, have people actually listened to what Dean Ambrose said about how he handled it? And we're not talking about, I don't know, like Maverick, who's comedy act, whatever, but you wouldn't think a guy like him has, the eyes and ears of Vince McMahon. Maybe as a comedic act, sure, but I don't think he would have the leverage, as it sounded like Dean had, to actually be able to pitch something, to Vince. And for that to happen, and for someone like, title reign and tag team titles and being in the Shield faction, which is so huge and marketable, amazingly marketable, and yet has no say for their character and how they turn him heel as pretty much like to be Bozo the Clown, because what the hell did they do with him at all? So if a guy like that has no say, or basically is told, not only has no say, but is also saying, yeah, whatever, your stuff sounds okay, but this other stuff is amazing. You gotta do this. You gotta act this way. What do you expect the rest of the locker room, who isn't at a Dean Ambrose level, to approach, Vince, do? And that's what I try to. That's what my point was in my tweet. Is not to offend anybody who's like, oh, fuck you, Alexa Bliss, blah blah blah, or anything like that, or say, understand where she's coming from. All I'm saying is, there's always two sides of every story. There's always two sides of the coin. Yes, I get where everybody's coming from. That it's like, boo should be 100%. You know, people pay their ticket to get entertained, not to be bored out of their minds. 100%. But the attacks aren't going to the creative team behind the actor. And I'll say it as an actor or athlete, because at the end of the day, they have to act this way. It's not going to Vince saying, what the hell match did you okay? It's not going to Steph. It's not going to Triple H. It's not going to the nobodies of the writing team or the producers. And I say nobodies and no names because we don't know who the hell the producers are for Raw or SmackDown. We don't know who the writers are. We know there's a huge turnaround, but they're not getting the harassment. They're not getting the heat. Well, who's getting the heat are the performers. And it's uncalled for when, at the end of the day, they're independent contractors. They have no medical. They have to front their travel costs. And yeah, someone's going to say, oh, but they make money. Sure, they do, but they're bust their ass, too, and having to have, you know, be on the road for over 300 and something days a year and not see their family. And yeah, it does take a toll mentally and physically. So it should also be about, what is that? So everyone in Soup Chat are marking up because Kevin joined the public chat. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. Shout out to Kev.
Yes,
and
yes.
There goes my ADD. I read that in my ADD. See, this is why. This now. When you guys want to know why Dark Chronicles doesn't have a chat, is because of stuff like this. Because him and I would look at something and will completely throw us off, and then it's like, oh my gosh, we'll offend someone because we didn't answer a Patreon question or whatnot, or we off tracked ourselves.
Let's try to get Kev. Let's try to get Kev in the chat.
That would be great. That really would be great. But yeah, going back to what I was telling you, it really is hard when, and then you also have Twitter. You know how many trolls I'm sure they're getting and how many notifications they get of like, you know, fuck you, you're boring. Imagine Roman Reigns, like when he was going through his ordeal, having to deal, because I'm sure there were still assholes out there hitting him up saying, you know, fuck you, die. I'm sure there were that kind of people, but it is hard. It's hard to deal with that stuff. And
okay, yeah, that I get, but it's just like, how, like, is it okay for the performer to go back, you know, to the fans and be like, oh, you're disrespectful, you know, the only reason why this company sucks is because of you. You know, it's like when Paige, you know, had, you know, makes her, you know, bipolar, you know, Twitter post saying, you know, oh, what's wrong with being called a diva, or, you know, when she made that, you know, stupid comment saying, you know, the reason why the company never took, you know, the women serious, it had nothing to do with the company. It was the fans. And it's like the floodgates open for that. Like I think there was someone who posted, you know, audio clips and like interview files of women, you know, that used to work for the company, all pretty much stating that there were occurrences where they were held back because, you know, the company didn't see them as, you know, as valuable. You know, at the end of the day, you know, wrestling is a guy's sport. You know, they can keep shilling out that, you know, oh, we're all about the women's revolution.
Yep. Which
has been kind of a failure in some aspects, but for you know, Paige to say that, it's just, I don't know if she just didn't know all the facts, or she's just trying to be a company person, or I don't know. I would like to think that she just honestly didn't know the facts. But, you know, there were some stories. I think Michelle McCool, she told a story where her and another female wrestler, I'm forgetting the name, they had a match on, I think, like main event or something. And after the match was done, an agent went up to him and told him, hey, you have to go out there and redo the match because your punches look too good. And she's like,
oh, I've heard of that, yes.
Or,
I forgot who it was, but I heard of that.
Other stories of like, and again, I'm blanking on the name, that, you know, they were told, hey, the guys are intimidated by your match, or, you know, the guys think that you're making them look bad, so try to ease back a little bit. So, and then basically, you know, it's WWE logic. If you argued against, you know, management or just the McMahons in general, they would find a way to push down your character or to bury you in the future. Because the same thing even happened to Trish Stratus. You know, she refused to do a sexual angle with another diva, and she ended up having to drop her title in WrestleMania in her hometown. Yeah. So
they'll do that to you. They'll definitely do that to you wholeheartedly, and they don't care. And you're right about the women's revolution. You know, it's funny because last year when they did the upfronts, and the upfronts is basically where you advertise all the shows on the network to the advertisers. It's like a little, you know, like sneak peek of why you should invest in the channel or invest in the company, because this is what we got to offer you for this year. So when I tell you, Drew, they had no male wrestlers. It was literally Stephanie, Charlotte, Nia Jax, Ronda Rousey, 1, 2, 3. I feel like there was another one in there, but I can't remember off the top. And it was all about the women's revolution, and they did not even advertise about the men. Not even John Cena. You would think that, you know, you would at least have one male rep representing. Not at all. Everything was the women's revolution, and that's how they advertise it. But it's like, you can't bank your money on two people. You can't bank it on Ronda, and you can't bank it on Brock Lesnar, because people know them from UFC and expect to be like, oh yeah, I'll follow Brock wherever he goes because that's Brock Lesnar. I know him from UFC. I can relate with wrestling. I can get into this. You can't bank like that, because you have an entire locker room of great performers that came from NXT, whose characters they botched. It's just ridiculous. Bayley, like the whole Alexa Bliss being a bully angle. Her little short ass is shorter than me, and she was like, just a couple months ago, she was bullying Nia Jax. Nia Jax is supposed to be your strongest, like, Amazonian beastly woman. Like no one should be able. She literally should be undefeated, because when I see her, I see a strong woman like I think Amazon. Like, you know how the Amazons, like in Xena the Warrior Princess, are supposed to be amazing, undefeatable. That's how I see Nia Jax. Like, you should be able to, like, have a hard time. And the fact that you took her character as a heel as she was at one point to make her a victim, and then yet you're advertising be a star, you know, anti-bullying, but here on screen it's okay for your top names to be bullying other names, like other wrestlers.
It's also how they book them, because, you know, the WWE just, I don't think they know how to book actual human beings.
No,
you know, going back to Nia Jax, it's like she gets bullied by Alexa Bliss, and then she wins the title, and then they decide to have her cut PSA promos after each match. It'd be like, Nia, you just won this match. How do you feel? You know, when I was a little girl, I was bullied, and you should have confidence and stand up for yourself and believe in yourself. And it's like, if I'm Nia Jax, if you're gonna book Nia Jax, have her come out and just be an ass kicker. Matter of fact, don't even have her talk. And if you're gonna have her talk, just have her go out and be like, "This is my title. I'm gonna beat the shit out of whoever tries to get in my way to just hold on to this title." Don't have her go out there and cut PSA messages. Like, come on.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, it should be. And literally, if you want to have her take time off and you want her to, because I know they tour schools, because they were at my junior high a year ago. If you want to have the Be a Star tour and advertise an anti-bullying, you can take someone like Nia Jax who kicks butt, and it's like, and literally, like you said, just be an ass kicker and that's it. And say, hey, I portray Nia Jax, who's a tough woman, but I would never do that, you know, to, you know, whatever, and then take it from there and talk about anti-bullying and how you were a bully. Leave that shit for in the classroom, you know?
Yeah.
Or if you want to do, you know, something that's like, you know, maybe for the top of the hour, talk about being a star and promote that, and how you should not do these things at home, despite seeing Superhuman or whatever the hell his name is doing it. You can do it that way, but leave that outside of the show, because if we are to believe that we're watching Raw and we're in kayfabe mode and all this and that, then let it be. Don't bring in other elements. And that's the thing. I feel like it's a circus. Like, you jump from story to story. It makes no sense. You go from her being a bully, from her being a destroyer, from not being destroyed to getting bullied by a little person. And no offense to Alexa Bliss, but you're shorter than me. I'm 5'4", and I would not even let you get close to me to try to bully me. So you're going to tell me a bigger woman like that? And then here's the other kicker. Going back to Extreme Rules, you have Nikki Cross, Alexa Bliss handicap match with Bayley, but like you were just bullying Bayley just a couple months ago. Like, she was fucking afraid of you. And now you're telling me that all of a sudden she's big and bad and she can come after you? It just makes no sense.
I don't think it's ever going to make sense. You know, apparently Alexa Bliss is this badass. This is for all the juggalos and juggalettes.
I'm sorry. I do not like that guy at all.
Who?
The superhuman, whatever his name is. I don't like watching the videos. Talk about, like, do not do this at home. Yeah, he clearly does.
Huh. Anyways. Oh yeah, we were talking about Kofi Kingston beating Samoa Joe. Yeah, Samoa Joe, yeah, I kind of made the suggestion. They should probably send Samoa Joe to NXT. They clearly have nothing for him on the main roster.
What they need to do is get rid of the top. Start from the top. Don't start from the bottom up. Start from the top up. Get rid of whoever the hell, whatever producer, whatever writer is coming up with bullshit, storylines, or even if it's time for Vince to retire, because a lot of people are saying that, like, then retire. Like, this could be your baby, but you don't have to be involved in the creative side. You can direct it if you want. You can fund it if you want. You could be in the production truck, chilling out. And I know it's hard because it's when it's your baby and you start grow up, you gotta let it run by its own. You gotta have someone that's gonna be just as passionate as any of the other wrestling fans out there, as us, and be able to come up with an entire storyline for every single wrestler, so there's no wrestler left behind. Like, there should not be anyone sitting pretty at home collecting a check. Like Lana. What the hell is Lana doing these days? Because I've not seen her. She's basically
just taking half naked pics on Instagram, pretty much.
Yeah, aside her doing her, her Instagram videos on how to wash your face and Happy 4, I don't see her on TV. You had a great character with her and Rusev being, the Ravishing Russian that she was and whatnot. You had everybody's attention glued to the screen when Lana was coming out. What happened with that? Completely ruined her character. And now she's at home collecting a check. Eagerly hoping, trying to go above and beyond to get someone's attention at the WWE to put her in a storyline.
There's just too many people on the main roster that you can easily just, like, phase out. There's people that you see and you can go, okay, I don't want to fire them necessarily, but they're not doing anything on the main roster, so I'm going to send them to NXT. Like, Tyler Breeze, for example. They gave up on him a long time ago. It's like they put him on the main roster and it looks like he was going to be at least something, and then literally like 2 weeks later, they just pretty much. Basically, the story was that Vince McMahon gave up on him. Like, he didn't like the gimmick, and that's usually the kiss of death.
He didn't like it from the start.
Yeah,
That's why they switched him over to the Fashion Police and all that bullshit. And I was like, you had a good character in Tyler Breeze. You had a good wrestler. That typical, snotty, I'm better than you, kind of, sort of like a Miz attitude, but, like, you had it like that, and it's like you haven't seen a character like that in a long time, and then you fuck it up by putting him in the fashion. You have even fucking Fandango, which you made him dance and whatnot, and you ruined his character too. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it's basically what it comes down to is if Vince doesn't understand your gimmick, then it's not going to work. Look what happened to the Vaudevillains. He didn't understand that gimmick, and that gimmick was over. It was over in NXT, and then when they got put on the main roster, it was over. Also, I think the whole thing with Gotch almost pretty much impaling Enzo, left a bad taste in their mouth. But basically, the story was as soon as they set foot on the main roster, Vince didn't get the gimmick, and that was the kiss of death. But next match on the card, I guess if you want to call this a match, Kevin Owens versus Dolph Ziggler in a 17-second barn burner.
Is that how long it lasted? 17 seconds?
I have it right here.
I was going to say 30, but wow.
Basically, the match begins with Dolph, I guess, slapping Kevin. And then Kevin, does a stunner on Dolph. Gets a 3 count, and then goes on the mic and starts shit-talking Shane McMahon and everybody else.
Yeah, he was like, Shane can kiss my ass. He was like, I came here expecting to get fired, but I guess not, or something like that. He was like, and now I can say something because my mic isn't cut off.
So does that mean we're getting Kevin Owens versus Shane at SummerSlam?
Yeah, for SummerSlam. That's going to happen.
The rumor is that the company is beginning the process of slowly phasing out Shane and taking him off TV for good. Well, maybe not for good, but they're just going to take him off TV. For
a little bit. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if it's like winners take all and it's like loser leaves. I wouldn't be surprised if they want Shane to be more on the back end of things than the front. But yeah, true. I agree with Kev, because if you think about it, the time that he's on TV, it's so oversaturated that if it was like, oh my gosh, like when he first started, when it was like maybe once every 2 weeks to once a month, he was showing face, and it's like, and we're like, ooh, Shane McMahon is gonna be on TV, and we're like, we haven't seen him in like forever. It's like, ooh, but now it's like, dude, you're everywhere, and it makes no sense.
Do you think it's the company that exposes him too much, or do you think Shane is lobbying to be on TV more than everyone else?
I think honestly it's the company. But part of it, I feel like Shane does want to take on that wrestling role and not just be all business. But I also feel like it's because I wouldn't be surprised if this has been saying, Shane's been out of TV and people love Shane and let's put Shane out. So same deal as any other wrestler. Like, people love Roman Reigns. Put him on TV. Put him on everywhere. I wouldn't be surprised if it's the same exact thought behind it.
Well, I mean, that's usually how the company operates. They'll see something that people like and go, so you like this? We're going to give it 20 minutes of TV time. And it's like, they almost did that with the New Day. Luckily the New Day, the New Day's, charismatic enough to be able to, I guess, carry a show. They did that with Roman because once upon a time, Roman wasn't always getting booed. And then, as soon as he started getting cheers from the crowd, the company looked at it as like, this is going to be our new guy. It's going to be our new Super Cena. And what happened. So, yeah, with Shane, I don't hate Shane. I actually like Shane.
I do too.
For all accounts and purposes, Shane is probably maybe the more liked member of the McMahon family. But I agree, he's way too overexposed. I'll give him one thing. He has really good heel. He actually has heel heat.
Yeah.
And he actually makes the crowd, by default like Roman, because the problem with Roman is that you're pushing him as his babyface, but you're putting him up against heels that the people actually like.
Yeah.
It's like, Roman versus Seth Rollins, Roman versus AJ Styles, Roman versus Triple H. It's like, the people actually still like Triple H at the end of the day.
I do.
100%. I do too, But with Shane, people see Shane and go, ugh, I'm getting tired of his ass. And they see Roman and just go, okay, Roman, just knock his ass out. Just knock his ass off of TV. So I do hope that SummerSlam is his last go-around for now. I wouldn't be opposed to him just making appearances here and there. Just to, talk a little shit, but as far as like being a primary character on the show, whereas you can easily take somebody else and put put them in that spot, fill up that TV time like an Aleister Black or cruiserweight matches, tag matches, or give some of the women a chance. Like Liv Morgan. Liv Morgan had a chance on SmackDown.
Well, that's the interesting part. I don't even know what are the women in the roster, like who's active now, because to me it just seems like it's the same rotation. I know Charlotte's gone. Nia's on the DL list for now because she's recovering from her knee surgery.
Well, no, Charlotte was on SmackDown. It was her and Liv Morgan.
Finally back?
Yeah, it was her.
So then I missed SmackDown, but I was like, I heard like, where's Charlotte at? And I was like, and then that's the other thing, this wild card shit. I don't even know who's in what show at the end of the day.
Yeah, because like on Raw they had that big battle royal, and it was SmackDown guys and Raw guys, and I'm like,
yeah,
I'm thinking in my head, okay, are they gonna like try and pull something out of the hat and have a SmackDown guy face Brock Lesnar? Because I was like, what if Big E won the Battle Royal and wanted to face Brock Lesnar? But it ended up being, Seth Rollins, which I'm just like, eh. But, on SmackDown, I didn't watch it, I just saw clips, but they had a town hall meeting where they, Shane came out and pretty much had the whole roster come out and voice their displeasure. And Charlotte, came out and talked a little shit, and then Liv Morgan got on the mic and talked a little shit, and Charlotte had a good comeback on Liv, and she was like, "Who are you? Do you even work here?" So they ended up having a match later on, which Charlotte won, and then Liv Morgan got on the mic and just said, "I'll be back next time. Charlotte beat me, but I'll be back next time." So it's refreshing to see a new face. Not to say that Liv Morgan's gonna light the wrestling world on fire. I like Liv Morgan. She's not the greatest wrestler in the world, but she's also not terrible. But she's interesting to watch. At the end of the day, it's refreshing to see new faces. And like you just said, it just seems like we just see the same crop of women on each show, because now Natalya is going to have a title shot at SummerSlam against Becky. Where it's interesting to see that, because Natalya is, from Canada, and SummerSlam is going to be in Toronto this year, so I don't know how they're going to push that.
Yeah, it is interesting, because I actually was not aware of that until like a couple days ago, and I was like, wait, you mean we don't get to do our Brooklyn gig anymore? We don't get to go to Brooklyn and chill out and go to NXT TakeOver? I was like, that's odd. That's like the first SummerSlam in years. I was like, wow, I guess I don't get to see my buddies anymore.
Yeah, that sucks. I just assumed that Brooklyn would just own SummerSlam every summer, and from here to eternity. So,
I imagine NXT TakeOver will also be in Canada.
Oh yes. I think they already announced some matches. I'm not 100% sure, but it's going to be Gargano and Cole for the third time, which I'm assuming if Gargano loses, whoever loses that match, they're going to get called up to the main roster. And my guess would maybe be Adam Cole, or actually not Cole, Gargano. He's been in NXT for, I guess, he seems like he's been in NXT for a good while.
For at least over 2 years.
I think it's been a lot longer than 2 years, personally, because I remember going to NXT.
I'm sure that's the case.
So I remember the last time I went to NXT was in 2016, and it was him and Ciampa versus the Revival.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he's been. It seems like he's been there longer than pretty much anyone else.
I feel like they had to leave him there, and it's nothing against it, but like I told you before, I feel like coming to the main roster is just so chaotic, and people have no idea what they're doing, that people just get lost in the shuffle, or characters get killed.
So I remember, I think Triple H said something along the lines of, a lot of guys might just stay in NXT. You know what I mean? Which, that wouldn't be a bad thing. I mean, keep Gargano in NXT, make him like the king of NXT. He doesn't have to leave. A lot of guys, back in the day, before when NXT, was starting to get some buzz, the whole thing was, I can't wait to see what they're going to do with Finn Balor on the main roster. I can't wait to see, can't wait to see Nakamura become a star. I can't wait to see Bayley become, the female John Cena. And look what happened.
And look at the roster now.
It's like the only one that they actually care about is Baron Corbin. Out of the whole NXT group, they just give a shit about Baron Corbin. It's just bizarre. But next match, because a lot of ADHD. Next match, AJ Styles defeated Ricochet to win the United States Championship. I was assuming Ricochet was going to win this match, but I guess they want to make this club a thing. Yeah,
I actually thought that I was on the money with that one because I think I've selected AJ for the win. I was like, no, they're going to have to give it to AJ.
Yeah, I mean, I guess they want to redo this whole club thing because they tried to do it.
Oh, looks like the Thunder's coming back.
Oh, yikes! They tried doing it 3 years ago. I did hear it. I was like, wait, are you moving a table? I know that's Thunder. But they tried making the club a thing like 3 years ago, and now they want to redo it. Do you see them adding more members? Or is it just going to be like the three guys?
No, I think it's just going to be them three. I don't think for whatever reason, they like those factions. So it's like, I wouldn't be surprised if they start making a new Shield soon. Yeah. Probably just letting Roman, get his energy and his level back. And then when he's full blown, I wouldn't be surprised if they try to do a new Shield.
Like an exact, look for look Shield, or just like another version of the Shield? Hello?
Yeah.
Oh, saying, like, when you say another Shield, do you mean like literally another Shield, or like a variation of the Shield?
No, I mean like bring back, put Seth and Roman, and then just add a third member. No, I don't mean like bringing back. I don't think you'll ever see Dean Ambrose back. I don't think even if Renee were to beg him or do other things that you get Dean Ambrose back.
I don't know. Never say never.
Well, the way he kind of crucified everything, yeah, I kind of feel like for now, I don't think we're gonna see him anytime soon.
Yeah, maybe for a good while, but
yeah.
Next match, the New Day defeated Daniel Bryan and Rowan and Heavy Machinery to win the SmackDown Tag Titles.
Yeah, see, I can't remember what we said last week. I think, didn't we say Daniel Bryan was gonna win?
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, the New Day won.
Yeah, again, going back to factions, they want to do the whole the New Day have all the gold, which
titles. Yep.
Which it also comes up because apparently their 5-year anniversary of being together, just recently came up. Which, I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy they've been together that long. I don't think I remember a faction, even in the WWE, that's been together that long.
And that's actually liked.
Yeah, because you look at these guys and they're legit friends. They're not just friends; they're brothers, and they get along with each other. They know each other's family. You never hear about them having heat with each other, or even really. I mean, I guess that maybe they had an argument, here and there, because that's what brothers seem to do. But these guys actually like each other, and they want to see each other succeed. They're happy that Kofi is on top. They're happy that they're tag team champions, and it's just crazy that they've been together this long, and that you hear whispers that the company wants to try and break them up, but to be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if that never happened.
I mean, it'd be crazy. I mean, this is WWE. Anything goes. But I think on the business side and on the marketing side, you have a lot of people that just genuinely love the New Day and are so supportive of them. From little kids with, that follow them with the bootios and the pretty T-shirts, the unicorn and all this. It's just genuinely like they I want to say they almost reinvent themselves, but not really. They just like they go from one thing and now they got pancakes, and you see Kofi throwing pancakes all over the place. I was like, what? But it's just what they do. They just try to engage the audience so much so that you're like, yeah, I know that. I know that's New Day. And it would be insane on the business side if you break them up or you try to turn Biggie heel. It's like if you're going to turn Biggie heel, turn the entire faction heel. Make all of them heel. Make Kofi a heel. Don't make it seem like, oh, Biggie is jealous and he attacks Kofi and then give Biggie the title. I would love to see gold on either of the guys. Or Woods is also a really nice person, and because I met him and game to him. But needless to say, I would love to see gold on any of the guys, but not if it means breaking them up. It's cool if they rotate them. Like, let's say Biggie's a champ, and then we have Kofi and Woods as tag titles. That's cool with me, as long as they remain in unison. Because to break a team up that has, I'm sure, over the top sales on all the stuff they have, because I'm sure they don't just sell T-shirts. I'm sure you got socks and you definitely have the cereal and whatnot. Yeah, it said bootios. But
I actually wanted bootios, and my girlfriend looked at me and said, "I am not buying you bootios."
Oh, come on.
And that broke my heart.
I kind of want just to try it to see if it's actually good or it's just like whatever. But yeah, like they're really marketable, and it'd be crazy for them. Like, I think sales would suffer in that sense if you break them up. Like, I'm sure there's people that follow each individual, but I think all together it'd be crazy, I feel like, to just break them up.
I mean, last week I had the idea of you can have Big E turn not necessarily heel, but it's more just like, there's dissension, there's, they're brothers at arms. You don't have to really turn him heel necessarily, but it's more of a, hey, I'm the young one of the group. I'm bigger, I'm stronger. Why is it that, anytime there's an opportunity given for one of us to move up, it's always given to Kofi? I get it, he's the vet, but I'm also the young bull. My talents, I feel like my talent's always being, wasted away. So I should get a title shot. And, again, you can just have, Xavier be the guy in the middle who's just like, I just want this to end. I want my brothers, to be brothers again. I want this to be a family again. And then, the end game, has, Big E winning. And, the end of the match is, him shaking hands with Kofi and hugging him and going, I'm sorry we had to go through that, but, I wanted an opportunity. And Kofi can be like, you were the better man. So.
Well, think about it this way. When he was out, him being Big E, were you following him on Twitter? Do you follow him? Like, all his tweets?
Yeah.
I was dying seeing all his tweets. I was like, it'd be great if we could see some of what he's putting out there. Like, because I'm like, I could see him having that sense of humor and also being a little frustrated too. It'd be nice to see that on screen. I just think that the way they would portray it, I kind of feel like they'll make him out to be an asshole versus, and it being just like him being the asshole saying me, and not being supportive of a friend and not being a real friend. So I feel like the way that they would actually portray it on TV would be detrimental to his character versus it actually being like, I do want to see Big E. Why not? And everybody being behind Big E. I think it'd be 100% different. Like, unless he has some way 100% creative, just being able to do it creatively himself. I don't see them doing it right. I think they'll just either go over the top or make him sound like he's whining or or being a complete dick about it.
Just have him go out there and be like Dolph. It should have been me. It should have been me.
I wouldn't be surprised if that's what they actually do. Like, seriously, it's like, no. It's like,
I was just waiting for Dolph to come in after Kofi beat him. It should have been you, but it should have been me.
Oh my gosh, yeah, right?
Jesus. So, with Daniel Bryan, you didn't watch SmackDown for that, but like, he was supposed to have like a career-altering announcement on SmackDown. I
saw the tweet, but I didn't hear anything about that. So I was like, it just didn't seem like it wasn't that altering.
So with Daniel Bryan, do you think they might put him back in the title picture?
To put him back on where, and for him to get the title?
Yeah, like do you see him possibly saying, you took my title and I never got a rematch, so now I want it back?
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. And by the way, it's like at some points your audio comes in and out, so that's why sometimes it's hard for me to hear what you were saying. But I kind of get the gist of it. But in this case, yeah, I mean, it honestly all depends on, I want to say on what, I hate to say it, but on his home life, because rumor has it that he's trying to do baby number 2. And I don't know if he, especially with him already having Birdie, I don't know if he would actually want to take that step and being more busy by taking, by getting the title again. So I'll require him to make more appearances and whatnot. Or if he's actually okay with just taking this role and being able to be more with his family.
So do you think him dropping the SmackDown title, what you just said, so he's basically taking some time off to, focus on another kid?
I mean, I think so. I mean, Brie hasn't announced anything about, I don't think she's pregnant. I'm 100% sure she's not, but, it does sound like she and both of them want baby number 2. And now I don't know if they're, 100% on board with getting it anytime soon. But that's something that she's always mentioned. And I know she mentions it on her podcast. She also has said so on Total Bellas. And both of them is, she said on one of the podcasts is that it's her being on the road and him being on the road, it's taking a toll on Birdie, and so she kind of does not want to have to be dealing with that. That's not to say she's not retired, I know that, but I don't know at what level, if anything. I don't know if she's trying to make a return. I don't know if he's trying to backpedal and just take it easy to see where it goes. I have no idea.
Do you think that kind of like that there's kind of like resentment between Nikki and Brie, that Brie's having kids and Nikki is still just out there dating?
Between the twins, I honestly no. If this was a year ago, my answer would probably be completely different from what it is. If this was a year ago, I would say, I think it's a lot of pressure for her to be in a relationship for over 5 years. She's planning a wedding and the groom's nowhere to be found. And she's doing everything by herself. And meanwhile, it's sort of questioning, like, you're marrying like, it's almost like marrying a trophy. You have this trophy guy, but he's nowhere around. You can pose a picture with him, but he's not there for you. Make sure he's a great guy. She never talks anything bad about him. But, yes, it's also the issue of her not being able to, not her, but him not wanting kids. And she's just, I think at that point she was feeling the pressure of, like, from the family, like, oh, you need to settle down. Oh, John Cena doesn't want to have kids. You want to be a mom. And we see it on every damn season that they had for Total Bellas and Total Divas. And all of that, honestly, was a lot of pressure for her. So I mean, as far as resenting her sister, I think if there was ever any resentment, it was more so the pressure of, what's going on with her and her relationship and her wanting kids at that point and not having it. But nowadays, my answer to this is it's sort of like, how do I say it? I think if anything, she's taken more because, how do I say? I think she found a new wind. I think she realized that all this time, yes, John Cena's a great guy, yes, but it's like she was missing out on life. So now it's not that she's loves her niece and she loves her sister, but she does not give two shits whether she's gonna have a kid or not. Like, having a kid right now is so far up, away from her mind, that it's like now she just wants to enjoy her new guy. She wants to enjoy life. She's doing everything she's doing for her businesses, and she has tons of businesses going and so many appearances that's the last thing she's got.
Good point. That makes sense. At the end of the day, I don't really think she should have resentment, towards her sister. I mean, she should obviously be happy, that her sister has kids, that she has a stable home life, that she has a good husband, and, at the same time, you should focus on your own shit. Like, don't try to play catch up. Like, try and focus on you right now. Because you can't just be like, oh, my sister has kids, so I guess I better have kids. Or, oh, she's married, so I guess I better find a man to marry. Like, start a family at your own pace. You don't ever want to just jump into something and have, you don't just want to jump into something because you feel like you have to. Do it whenever you're ready.
And actually and just to defend her a little bit, because you do see that in the seasons of Total Divas, when Brie was more so like pushing her into like, oh, you should get married and settle down, and what are you going to do? Why are you still with John when John doesn't want to have kids and you do, and blah, blah, blah. And she was feeling that pressure. She did stand her ground and was like, that's all for you, but that's not my life. And she even has said so recently to her too, like, that's great, that's you, but that's not me.
Well, I didn't know that because I don't watch the show, but yeah, it's good that you cleared up.
Those are my girls. I 100% support anything they do. I know some people hate them, but I don't. I actually see them as, hey, they're the one, they're definitely the type of women that are out there. They 100% are marketable. They went in there, did their wrestling thing, got their 10-year career off, and were able to have so many brands, from having, a YouTube channel, podcast, like literally anything you can think of, lotion, and the other brand that they have, and the wine, and all this and that. So it's pretty awesome that for women. Oh, and then of course, damn it, the clothes that I always wear, the Birdie Bee line too. So it's pretty awesome to me that they were able to, that you would normally see something like this from a guy wrestler, or just a guy in general, that they'll take one thing and kind of try to market everything around them, like like how New Day does. But these girls have taken it off screen and have been successful in other areas. So I so 100% admire them. And I wish I can do something like that, in which you take one career and just transform it and have other businesses that make money for you. Like, so that's why I'm like so supportive of them.
Well, it's good. It's good to know that they have a fan, that they have a loyal fan in Trez. All right, going back to Extreme Rules.
Yeah, I know, right?
Next match, which was surprisingly a pretty good match. Braun Strowman defeated Bobby Lashley in a last man standing match.
That one I actually I didn't. Did I see that one? I don't think I saw that one. I feel like I started watching after that match. No, wait, that's not true. That's not true. I so lie. I remember now. This is the one where they went backstage and I was making fun because I was like, oh, look, he almost slipped on what looked like his own t-shirt, him being Braun Strowman, and then the stairs. Yeah, I remember now. Okay, it came back to me. I was like, wait, what? I know there was one match I didn't see, but I could have sworn it was that one, but I'm good now. I got it. I remember.
So another milestone is Bobby Lashley had one of the best matches of the night, which is weird because you heard me say Baron Corbin had one of the best matches of the night, and so did Bobby Lashley. So this was probably the best way to use Bobby Lashley because at the end of the day, he's an ass kicker. He's a former MMA guy. Yeah. When you look at his MMA record, it was actually not too bad. I think he was like 16-2 or 21 and something. I don't know, but him against Braun, the way they set it up was good. When they both went through the stage and, they had the wherewithal to, keep Braun off TV for a week leading up to the pay-per-view and not just have him come on and be like, I'm back. I'm healed. Nothing can take me out. They decided to say, oh, by the way, he has an injured spleen or a ruptured spleen or some bullshit like that.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I was like, well, he recovered pretty quickly from his ruptured spleen.
How long does it usually take for somebody with a ruptured spleen to come back?
I don't know, but you can die from that. So to me, it's like... You remember that SVU episode where the druggie died and everybody was blaming Stabler, thinking that, it was just a chokehold or that Stabler killed him and it was unnecessary force. And
I saw that.
Remember that it's the ruptured spleen? I was like, so clearly you can die from a ruptured spleen, but yet it's okay. He's back, kicking ass and getting hits that it's like, ooh, I don't think you should be getting that with a ruptured spleen. I think you're supposed to be resting. So you don't bleed out.
By the way, I watched the John Stamos episode that you were talking about.
Yeah, you finally did? I want to get that knife.
Yeah, that guy was a fucking creep.
Yeah, he was.
Like the part in the episode where he comes out of the office and there's like literally all of his children in New York. And he's like, yeah, these aren't all my children. There's more children overseas. And I'm like, what in the actual fuck? Like, this guy is just an...
And he's not even a poor guy. He's, like, a fucking rich guy, too. And it's, like... And it's just, like, the way he turns and she's, like, telling him, like, oh, my God, this is your kid? He's like, yeah. And he's just, like, nonchalant, all cool about it. Like, yeah, this is my kid, but, we can raise him together. I was like, you are psycho. And you're putting holes on your condoms when usually... guys would be examining the wrapper, making sure there's not even a tiny hole. He's the one actually poking them chicks. Oh my gosh.
And then, like, his current fiance, she acts like she's cool with it. Like, that was just, like, that was probably the more disturbing part.
Oh, yeah. Where she was like, oh, I'm waiting for my attorney. Like, you realize your attorney's that guy, right? It's just like, your attorney is your fiance, and there's nothing weird about that because he's the one that's just like, oh, it's just like, oh, this. Yeah. I was just surprised because in the end, I was like, and even when we went to the dick store, I was like, I want that knife that goes boom. I was like, I'll keep that knife as in case of emergencies.
Yeah, and she just continues to drink her wine. She's like, there's no wine where I'm going. Thinking, why are they playing the music like she's the bad guy? This guy was a fucking creep, and she pretty much did us all a service. Oh, man. I forgot what else.
Well, here's the thing with that episode. It's sort of like a catch-22 because my thing is like, yeah, she kind of stopped his operation, but at the same time, what happens with all the kids that he has that were depending on his check? Because you remember he did say in the precinct, yeah, but I send the check every month.
Yeah, good point.
So that was my thing. I was like, damn it. I was like, you killed the motherfucker, but then, at least he would pay child. Well, I don't know. At least his estate or something. Something would have been worked out where these people can get money. Oh, well.
So yeah, Braun Strowman and Bobby Lashley.
Yeah, the appendix has no real function other than if it collects enough. I forgot what it is. It collects enough toxic in it. I know the word's not toxic. All I know is that I got my shit removed because I had a really sharp pain that made me, roll over all the time. And I was blaming it on the sushi that I had, and so I ended up having that surgically removed a couple years ago. So no real function other than cause pain.
Damn. I don't know. I know people that have had to get appendix removed, and they'll always say the same thing. It hurts like a fucking bitch. Like, when your appendix is in pain, your whole body's in pain. And that's not something I ever want to go through. I'm pretty sure I will have to go through it at some time. But I don't know. I don't even want to think about the pain.
Yeah, no. I remember... I went home. I remember it was the summertime. I went home. I think it was I had like another week or so before I took my vacation. And then it was a Friday and we left early. And then I was in so much pain. And it was like, yeah, we need to operate immediately. That's your appendix. I was like, oh shit. And so on Monday, because I had all this payroll, and I was like, yeah, it's not going to happen. I'm not showing up to work. I just had surgery. And they're like, well, oh, no, actually, I was like, yeah, no, I'm in the hospital waiting to get surgery. And they're like, well, you think you can do the timesheets? I was like, well, I'm in the bed on
oh, my God.
Doped up? Like, do you really want me to calculate timesheets? And it's like, because my boss and my payroll accountant were not getting what the appendix is or appendicitis is. Like, they weren't getting it. So they had no idea how, severe surgery is and the recovery for it. I was like, yeah, no, I'm not coming in for like at least a couple weeks because I just had fucking surgery and I'm in pain. So they were like, oh, yeah. I was like, yeah, somehow. Because the thing is, I had just came back from, I want to say from LA because I was working BET Awards. So I had all the crew payroll. I didn't have, thankfully, for whatever reason, I didn't have it. Usually I carry it with me and I calculate it, but for whatever reason, I think I remember calculating it, and I guess I didn't have enough time because I was going to turn it in the week after. Yeah, that didn't happen. Yeah, so I was like, how the hell you know what an appendicitis is? And they thought it was not severe. I was like, I'm in the hospital, and I'm telling you, my experience with my appendicitis surgery, so after surgery, it was just, I was barfing, and it was horrible because I didn't realize they were giving me morphine. So the morphine also made it so that it blocked my ability to urinate. So they had to go in there and take an IV bag out just of, I apologize for graphics. Literally took an entire bag of IV filled with pee. That's how much I had in me. And I was like, oh my gosh, I can't go, and that's what they did to me. So then the next day, still doped up on the morphine. Because they had to give it to me as ASAP because as soon as I woke up, I literally felt like someone cut me. Like I was feeling that entire thing. So that's why they gave me the morphine. Next day, I'm like not feeling pain, just chilled out. And I remember talking to my brother, and I had my eyes closed. And but before I closed them, I was like talking to him on the phone, and I was like, "Oh wow, I just saw a red fluffy cat like right in front of me jump." And my brother was like, "Yeah, that's not happening." And I was like, "Yeah, I'm looking at this kitty cat. This is how doped up I was. I was like, this cat just flew right in front of me. It's a completely red. And like, it wasn't like a real cat. It was like a stuffed animal cat. And I was like, it's just like passed me. And he was like, well, we'll talk later. And then I was starting to feel some of the pain. And so I tell my nurse, I'm like, hey, can I get some pain meds? Because, I'm starting to feel the pain again. And it's just horrible pain. Think of like a paper cut. You know how painful paper cuts are? But now think of it on your side and deeper. Like, yeah, that's exactly what I was feeling. So I was like, you guys gotta give me some, something. And so he says to me, oh, you want more morphine? And I was like, what? Yeah, he's like, that's what we've been giving you. And I was like, well, no, I don't want that. I was like, well, and then I was like, oh, that's why I saw the red fluffy cat, because of the fucking drugs. I got it. So, yeah. So, no, it's not a fun surgery. It's not a fun recovery. I was at home. I can't complain about that, but no to morphine. It's one hell of a drug. Great for pain killing, 100%, but the side effect of feeling nauseous and not being able to pee are the downfalls of that drug. Not the red fluffy cat.
You ever had your wisdom teeth removed?
Yeah, I did.
Ugh. Had those removed 11 years ago, and I hated it. I hated that whole week and a half of not being able to eat anything. I can only eat ice cream, and I love ice cream. But if you if you have to eat ice cream every day, it's just like, I want a fucking burger right now. When they took yours out, did they leave the holes, or did they stitch it up? They stitched it up.
See, no, mine was even worse, because mine, they took out, I had both, I want to say both top ones removed, but it was 1 week was one of them, and then the following week was the other, which was no fun at all. But mine, they didn't stitch up. Mine fucked me by saying, you need to do your saltwater gargles 3 times a day, and and you can't have solid foods, because if you do, one of the food particles can actually get inside the hole, and then the hole will heal with that inside, and it will cause bacteria, and then you'll get sick, and then they're gonna have to reopen the hole to take the bacteria out. That's how mind fucked I was. And I was like, oh my god. So, I'm Spanish, I eat rice every day. So my theory was like, oh my gosh, if I have a grain of rice and the grain of rice, what if it gets stuck in there, and then it heals over, or the rice gets stuck in the hole? I was like, then that's gonna, I'm gonna have to have surgery all over again. Like, I remember Mom would make soup, and she would blend it so that whole thing is all completely liquid, and that's what I was having every day for 2 weeks.
My dumb ass actually tried eating chicken wings, and I couldn't open my mouth all the way open, so I'm just like taking little baby bites. And it's kind of similar to what you just said. Some of the food was actually like getting stuck there, even though they were stitched up. And I was like, that wasn't one of my better ideas. Is something I never want to go through again. I never want to go to a hospital for as long as I live. It's just I avoid hospitals at all costs.
What was didn't you go to the dentist today?
Yeah, well, that's one of those things where I had to go because they schedule appointments every 6 months.
Regular checkup.
Basically, I just went for a checkup. The next time I go in, it's going to be X-rays, which those are fun, by the way. And depending on what insurance you have, it's pretty pricey. If you have pretty good insurance, then you don't have to pay a lot. Today, I only had to pay like $10.
Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah, I think the most I ever had to pay was 60-something bucks, which was crazy. Like, before I even had insurance, I had an overdue bill, which they decided to remind me about, like, I think 2 months after one visit I had, and they're like, you have an overdue bill, $150, and it's like, you're telling me this now? So, luckily they set me on a payment plan, and I just, paid the whole thing because, nobody else is going to do it for me. That's the fun thing about being an adult. You get to pay your own bills.
Yeah. Yes, fun in quotes.
And speaking of bills, my student loan payments start next month. Hello?
Yeah, you went off.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was saying my student loan payments start next month.
Yeah, don't even get me started talking about that. I haven't made one payment in forever.
So, what happens when you, is it possible that you can be late on a payment? Or is it one of those things where it's just just make a payment?
Well, you can apply for, I think it's called deference, in which you can just say because of your income, they, you haven't been working or whatever it is, and they'll postpone you having to pay for a while. Like, I was supposed to apply for some other thing, which I forgot what it was. It wasn't deference. It was something else, like low income something, and I just forgot to make the application. So the bad part of it is, which that reminds me, that's one of the things I have to do next week. The bad part of it is that if you miss a payment, that goes straight into your credit report, which messes up your credit.
Mm.
And even if though you can say, like for what happened to me was that they put 2 negatives on my credit report because of 2 missed payments, and 1, I've never made a payment. And then I was like, well, you guys gave me deference, so why am I even putting, that should be reversed? And they're like, no, they're not reversing it. I was like, you guys are assholes then. You can wait for the payment.
I think I kind of got something similar, because they pretty much just combined all the loans I made for each semester and gave me the cheapest, payment plan, which is, $75 a month.
That's great. You know how much my bill would be? $900 a month.
Ugh.
I was like, how you figure out how I'm going to pay that shit with my salary? Or my no salary, because starting Friday, I don't know. My job ends on Friday, so we'll see what happens.
Ooh, what happened?
I don't know. They're saying budget cuts, but that's bullshit. So we'll see.
Yeah, we can talk about that after the show. We don't have to talk about it now. Loans starts next month. It's due on the 9th. They finally put up my bill, which I'm just like, yay. So at the moment, I'm just currently looking for a better, higher paying job, preferably something, that has to do with my degree. But, then again, not everybody who gets their degree, puts it to good use. You know what I mean? You can be at a job, interview with your degree, and there'll be somebody that's interviewing you that's not even qualified, that doesn't even have a college degree. And it's just disheartening. So. No,
you're right. Look, I have a degree, and it's so hard to, to get your foot in the door. I mean, I got 18 years of experience and a degree in finance, and, it's like you would think that someone who's that experienced would be like, super called everywhere. It's like, nope. I was like, okay.
Yeah, it's like I have 2 degrees. I have an associate's and I have a bachelor's, and I still work at a grocery store. Which, there's no shame in working at a grocery store. There's no shame in having. There's no shame in having any type of job, but it's one of those things where it's just like, I'm 30. I should already have a pretty good paying job right now. Especially with this college degree of mine, and I get it's like a pride thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, Danny's back in, but I just hope. I'm always happy to get an interview, but it's one of those things where it's like, okay, I had the interview. Let's hope I actually get a call back, and it's positive. So
yeah, I know it's 100% hard. It's hard, but you just gotta, like I keep trying to tell myself, it's just gotta stay positive about it, and hopefully the right job with the right pay comes along.
Yeah, at the end of the day, money is very important. People who say money doesn't matter. Money does matter, actually, because money is what keeps the lights on. It's what keeps the water on. It's what puts food on the table. So as you get older, the only thing that really does matter is money. When you were younger, you're always loyal to the job, but then as you got a little older, you realize I kind of want to get paid more, so I'm going to take this job.
Yeah.
You always go where there's work, and you always go if there's good pay.
Well, that's why also a lot of us get stuck on a job that you really don't want to do because you just have to make ends meet.
Yeah, my girl, we both work at the same job, and before she even got hired at my job, I was pushing for her to work here, and she, at the time, she was working at a very minimum wage job, and she ended up applying here. She was working both jobs at the same time, and she was getting 2 paychecks. She ended up quitting that job, and I pushed for her to go after a promotion. And she was kind of hesitant. Mainly it's because, I'm not just saying this because she's my girlfriend. She's really good at her job. And, she's had experience in leadership, and she's always been a good leader. So when I pushed for her to do this promotion because I knew she would be good at it. But that's the one thing that kind of pisses her off, because she's like, yeah, I know I'm good, and that's what kind of sucks. Because now I'm stuck with I'm stuck with all the hard work. I'm stuck with dealing with the bullshit, while everybody else gets a more easier position, if that makes sense. Out of everybody in her position, she's the best one, because she knows how to deal with everybody. She knows how to deal with everyone's egos, everyone's bullshit. And it's a good paying job. It's not like the greatest job in the world, but at the end of the day, we're able to make enough money to pay our bills and keep the lights on. And that's pretty much the only thing that matters.
Right.
So,
once you have a roof over your head and the bills are paid, Well, that's what I'm saying. It's like you get stuck in jobs that you don't want to do, but you're forced to do, and you stay there much longer than you want to until you're basically booted out.
Yeah, especially, and I can't really speak from experience, but especially when you have a family, especially when you have kids and you have a wife or a husband, sometimes you have to work jobs that you never envision yourself working, where you're working long hours and it's a shit job and you don't get a lot of appreciation or really any benefits, but, the pay the pay helps.
Yeah.
It's like, and, a friend of mine, she was saying her husband used to be a contractor. He used to work in construction, and it was a shitty job because, he was working long hours, and sometimes he wouldn't even see his family most of the time. Like, he would work 18-hour days, 20-hour days, and come home for an hour or 2 hours if he was lucky, and then have to go back to work. But
that was one of my gigs.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right, so what did you do in it? How was it for you?
We worked on a movie. It was me and another accountant worked on a movie where the norm is you worked either 8, 10, or 12 hours, right? And after 12 hours, per New York State law, you're supposed to get overtime. Actually, after 8 hours, you're supposed to get overtime, some level overtime. But the producer had to switch it to make it a 14-hour straight day, which, of course, it's illegal, but so that's what they did, and that's what we worked. So when we worked, I want to say I think we reported to work at 8:30, and I worked, 8:30. Sometimes I'd be getting home around, 12:30 is probably still early. Probably 1:30. So that's what, 12 plus 5, 17-hour day. 17 to 18-hour work day. And then just to literally come home, shower, and get up at 6 to do it all over again. So, and I did that for a couple months actually. So it's tough. So I was doing accounting, but it's so tough when the shooting schedule was odd. Like they wanted me there at the office at 8:30. Meanwhile, they didn't really start their day till like maybe, I don't know, 11 o'clock. Like wherever they were, whether they were in the field or whatever, they wouldn't start their day till 11. And it wouldn't bother us till like 2-3 o'clock in the afternoon. And so it's, everybody there was like, as far as like people, they were nice. You know, the head of production was awesome. Still keep in contact with him today. But like the work schedule, and that's just the typical movie schedule. When you work on a movie, you expect to work 18-hour days minimum. Like if anyone who works on a movie is working an 8-hour shift, God bless them, because that's amazing. You literally every day on a movie is an 18-hour shift. But the pay is supposed to be good, but honestly, when you're expecting people to make 18 hours, but you're paying them 14 hours of straight time, and then anything after 14 hours it's time and a half. It's a little tough. So a lot of people technically are owed a lot of overtime, but it is what it is.
I honestly couldn't imagine being on my feet all day for 18 hours.
Yeah, and 14 of those hours are straight time.
I think.
Whereas technically, the most you can do is 12 hours, and then after 12 hours, it's supposed to go overtime. And then I know California, it's anything after. I feel like after 12 hours, they go into gold time, so they get double time after 12 hours. We don't get that here.
The only time I ever had to work a shift like that was worked at a residential treatment center for kids, for at-risk kids, and that was an on-call job. So basically, they'll actually tell you when your on-call dates are, and if some most of the time, and my on-call dates were on my closing shifts. Whenever I had to I'm messing up my words. Whenever I had to work with the evening crew. And I've only had to do that twice. And the first time was because I had to, because that was my first week there. So they were like, all right, you're going to work your on-call just so you can get a better feeling of what, working a late shift is like. The second time, somebody called in, so I really had to. And I had been working from 2 p.m. to 6:30 a.m.
Wow.
Yeah, I let my girlfriend know in advance, hey, I have to work my on-call shift, I'll be home. And for that kind of job, especially when you're on, at-risk kids, you can't bring your phone in or anything personal, so I had to leave my phone in my car. So I basically wasn't able to talk to my girlfriend pretty much until I, went home. Or when I got on my shift, I just let them know, hey, I'm coming home. And then, like, the next day, like I said, I got home around, like, 7 a.m. And then I had to go to work in, like, was it 8 hours? And I had a hard time going to sleep. I remember when I came to work the next day, one of the kids saw me, and he's like, I saw you working here last night. Did you have to, like, stay late or whatever? I'm like, yeah, I had to do my own call. He's like, did you at least get some sleep when you got home? I'm like, yeah, the thing about me is, like, when I try and get some sleep and I get woken up or disturbed, then I can't go back to sleep.
That makes sense, so that happens.
Yeah. So, it was a rough job.
Unless you take that CBD oil that I took that hedges you up.
Oh, I will definitely...
for days for that.
I will definitely look into that.
Yeah. BeamTLC.com.
Was it? Say that one more time.
Beam.
TLC.
Yeah, Beam, like a beam of light.
Yeah.
BeamTLC.com.
Oh,
and then for the discount code, use Bella's. That's $10 off. It's worth it. The discount's worth it. I'm still trying to debate on the product. It's some strong shit, I can tell you that.
Are you being a corporate shill for the Bellas?
No. I'm just literally telling you. I got the cheapest one too. I got the 500 milligrams.
Ooh, interesting.
Yeah, and I've had CBD before. Before when my boss has given me a little bit of it, but it would just not have much effect on me. This one, however, it's like, oh shit, this is the real deal. That's how I see it.
Oh, I think my mom might have some. My mom, I think in a past life she could have been a drug dealer, because I can go to my mom's house and be like, "Yeah, Mom, my arm hurts." Okay, wait a minute, I have something for that. And I'll just see her go through her drawer, and she's just like going through like random pills she has. Take this. Mom, my head hurts. Take this. And it's like, where are you getting all these pills, lady? So we'll just skip the whole review. What was your favorite match at Extreme Rules?
What was my favorite what?
Your favorite match at Extreme Rules.
Oh, I guess as much as I hate Baron Corbin, I'd have to say that would have to be my favorite one, only because I like the ending.
Makes sense. What do you think it was the worst match?
Drew?
Hello?
Yeah, what'd you say?
Did I cut off?
Yeah, you've been cutting off.
Fuck. What in your opinion do you think was the worst match?
No, you cut off again.
Fuck. All right.
See, like look at your circle, like it's on and off on the live show.
All right.
Right now it's off.
God damn it. Okay. What out of the whole Extreme Rules pay-per-view event, what do you think was the worst match? Yeah, I see what you're saying. The circle keeps going on and off.
Mm-hmm.
Damn. All right, let me just type it.
All right, because all I heard was out of the whole Extreme Rules match, and then that's when you got cut off.
Hold on, I'm going to type it in the chat. All right, there it is.
What was the worst match? Okay, let's see. The AJ match was not bad. I kind of like the New Day match. Actually, that wasn't bad at all. What's the other match? Oh, probably the handicap match.
Handicap match.
Right? Or am I confusing that with Raw? No, that was there. The Bayley, Alexa Bliss, and Nikki Cross.
Yes.
Is that it, or am I thinking Raw?
Yeah, Bliss and Nikki Cross versus Bayley. That was a pretty bad match.
Yeah, I didn't like it. I felt like it ran too long.
I didn't really think that match needed to be on the card. It would have been fine if it was just Nikki Cross versus Bayley, but they wanted to shoehorn Alexa Bliss in that match somehow. Just going back to my idea, I personally think Alexa Bliss needs to be a manager or a valet. Her wrestling, gig just isn't working out.
Or it's because they have her play the same role of her bullying people, and it's like it's so unbelievable that a little short person, no offense to anybody that's 5 feet under, that she would actually be bullying all these other people, and it's the same storylines over and over again, and they tried the moment with Bliss and whatnot, and it's just like give her something else to do. I think even valeting it, the bagel guy takes offense.
I love that guy.
Oh my gosh, yeah, right? Yeah, he probably does. But I'm not his god, so there you go. But yeah, it makes no sense to me. Best promo ever. Yeah, seriously. It really was.
I need to watch that video again.
Oh my gosh. You're not my god. Yeah, I know. I'm not his god. So it's alright. I can offend.
Did you ever watch when he got interviewed on, what is it, Access Hollywood or something? And I see that my connection is going in and out.
Yeah.
Like some lady interviewed him, and he basically just went, this interview's over. I'm done talking to you, and then he just walks away.
Oh my gosh, no, I didn't see that one.
Yeah, the Soup was talking about it.
Or his boss or his father, yeah. He's an angry elf, I know, right?
I just think of the movie Elf whenever he's talking to Peter Dinklage's character.
Did you see that they did a compilation of, this guy talking, the bagel guy talking, and then you see Will Ferrell in the elf suit talking back?
No, where is that?
Oh, Danny, you gotta tag me on it so I can tag Drew.
Yes, do it now.
Oh my gosh, he was saying you're an angry. He found a chick. Oh, look at that.
Hey, he found love. Good for him.
Happy ending still. She's after his lucky charm. Oh, too funny.
Now I'm not sure if that story's even true, or if Danny just wanted to set up that pun.
But I know the one that I was telling you with the Will Ferrell as Elf. Yeah, that's true. They actually did that one.
Now I need to find it.
Mm-hmm.
Alright. So yeah, Extreme Rules wasn't too bad of a pay-per-view. Pretty solid pay-per-view from beginning to end, except the Bayley and Alexa match. The Taker, Roman, and Shane match was actually surprisingly good. That's the best way you utilize Taker, is just put him in tag matches.
Did I watch that match? Let me see.
Well, it was the first match on the card.
That was the first match, right?
Yeah, the first match at the beginning of the show.
Also, then no, that's the match. Then I think actually that's the match that I didn't watch.
Oh, okay.
I know there was one match and the pre-show that we didn't watch. Okay, babe. Thanks for tuning in.
All right, Danny, take care, man.
Here, Drew, I'm gonna tag you on this.
Is it on Facebook?
It's on FB, yeah.
Okay, cool.
Oh, maybe you can't watch it. Hold on. Let me tag you again. Because you and Danny aren't friends, so you probably won't be able to see it.
Ooh.
Here you go.
So I might need to add him.
Yeah, and I just tagged you on the public video so you can see it too there.
Okay, yeah, I see it.
Oh my gosh, I was dying when I saw that.
This is too good. I'm gonna watch this as soon as I get off. Alright, so was there anything else you wanted to go over?
No, I think we covered everything.
Yes, we did. We technically went through Extreme Rules, but we just kept going back and forth.
We did, right? And our ADD wasn't so bad tonight. I felt like we focused on each single topic we were talking about without jumping back and forth.
No, it was good conversation.
Yeah.
Alright, so tell everybody where they can find you.
Everybody can find me on Twitter at DarkTemptress, DarkTemptrez, and also on Dark Chronicles tomorrow night, when I'll be co-hosting with my bestie Kev Castle.
Alright. Be sure to look for that when it drops. Basically, you guys know where to find me. Twitter, Drew Yari Show. Instagram, Drew Yari Show. Episodes are every Wednesday on... Well, Well, we record here every Wednesday for people to join in on the conversation, listen live, but they're always going to be uploaded to Spreaker regardless, and basically anywhere that podcasts are found. So that's pretty much it. Shout outs, to the Wrestling Soup, DTKC. Don't forget to go to their Patreons, especially DTKC, where you can hear my co-host with her friend, who's also a friend of the show, Kevin Castle, Dark Chronicles, which they're going to be recording tomorrow. And then, other friends of the show like Texas Podcast Massacre, Tyler the Trademark, Peter, Julian from the Wrestling Court, and B-Show Brian. Make sure to check those shows out. And we will be back next week. Will you be back next week, Trez?
What'd you say?
I said, are you going to be back next week?
If you invite me, and I can.
Absolutely. The invite's there.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you for being on the show.
You're welcome.
All right, guys.
Enjoy the rest of your birthday.
I'll probably just enjoy it at home because we did everything we wanted to do. But I was going to ask you something after we stop recording.
Okay.
All right. But yeah, I'll just call you and we'll just talk privately so nobody can hear. All right, guys. Peace. I will edit and upload this show in a bit. Laters.